Daytona. Glad you could join us here this afternoon as Mark Thompson finishes up his lap, his one lap of qualifying for tonight's 250. Thompson will put that car in 16th position. Supporting of Timmy Hill warming up and getting as close as he can to that safer barrier to get the momentum.
And we saw Timmy in the, I think it was his second practice yesterday. He was one of the guys that went out and they ran in a group with 3 guys, Ray Black, Timmy Hill, a couple guys. And it's like Dale said, and we were talking earlier, they were fast. A little bit faster than the 182 or 183 that's on the pole right now. But they were running in a pack. So this may be one of the first times that he's been out there by himself because these guys were working on their pack stuff. And 3 cars is not much of a pack, but you still get a feel for what the car is going to do in a draft.
And you know, you look at this from right now, from first down through the 17 cars that have probably, you see about 6 miles per hour difference. But in a pack of racing, 6 miles per hour, you can hang on.
Yeah.
You know, if you have, especially if you have a car behind you that is able to put you, that helps you keep up and make that difference. That's why we talk about literally everybody that's here has an opportunity to get up and race in the pack and have a great night.
Car runner Carl Long would love to have one of his cars in victory lane. That would be very cool. So Timmy, 15th now of the 18 cars that have been on track. Just a little over 50 seconds. Talked to Justin Allgaier earlier. Says he had a black nose on his race car. He'll peek outside of Eric Almirola right there as the crash happens behind them. NASCAR would have loved to see them come back to the checkers under green, but to roll safety vehicles, they felt they needed to throw the caution right there. And at that moment, Eric Almirola in the 98 car was ahead. Disappointing, and you guys have had the highlights as well. Sometimes these spectacular highlights are shown over and over again for years to come, and unfortunately, that's one of Justin's to relive.
Yeah, most of the time. I mean, you're not ever really happy with finishing second, but that's one of those that, hey, if I could have just had a few more feet, if they just pushed that button for the caution light just a split second later, I think he might have surged ahead at that point just by a couple of inches.
And as he said when they talked to him earlier, he still thinks about it. Yeah, those are the ones you think about. I'm sure we could stay here and talk to Dale. Yeah, he remembers the ones he won, but he remembers the ones that he lost.
Yeah.
That are painful. That's a painful one to lose right there.
He'll have a good shot tonight when they go racing for 250 miles. 7th, actually 8th for the 7 car of Allgaier right now.
Yeah, looking at that, that tells me that Jason Burdett has put some downforce into that race car here. And he understands that Jason's been coming down here a long time. He heard me harp on it because he worked on our team at Robert Yates Racing about, when you come back here for July, and Todd Barrett was really good at being able to do that, not take too much speed out of it, but give you something you can be aggressive with. That's the main thing. You want speed, but you have to have something you can be extremely aggressive with when it comes time to make those moves.
Local boy, 25-year-old Ben Kennedy from right here in Daytona Beach, Florida, in the 2 car for Richard Childress Racing this evening. One of several starts in the Xfinity Series for Ben this year. Talked to his mom, Lisa, just as she was leaving the track yesterday, and he's being a good son. Took mom out to dinner last night.
Very nice.
I said, who's going to pay? And she said, well, of course he is now that he's a big-time Xfinity.
Goes to the top.
Hey, see, he's really big time. Another Richard Childress Racing car to the top. Of course, Blake Cook, owned by Matt Pollock, but associated with Richard Childress. And to another team, how about Roush Fenway Racing, Parker?
Right, Ryan Reed down here, the past winner from Daytona earlier this year. He held off some Cup stars to be able to do that. That must give you great confidence. But you were just asking me, can I turn down the heat? Does that make you a little nervous for tonight?
Oh man, it's hot. I mean, number one, it's just brutal conditions to be in a race car. You're gonna do some sweat tonight, but then also a lot of grip loss. You know, it's this hot. Even after the sun goes down, it'll be hot and slick. So that'll be a factor. Just got to be mindful of that, you know, while we're racing. We got to get to the end of these things. All the races I've had success at, we've been really mindful of keeping the car in one piece. So, yeah, man, just going to watch the end of qualifying here on Xfinity X1. Hopefully we get a pole and we can start up front because that'll make our jobs a lot easier.
This team's hoping to get to the pole and try to replicate what they did earlier this year, getting victory lane, Dave.
Parker, it's so interesting to hear him say that. You know, he was a guy saving his race car, and yet was aggressive enough at the end with the equipment to do it, to win the races. Joey Gase finishing up his qualifying lap. 16th for the driver from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, for Jimmy Means Racing. There's Ben Kennedy still slowing down. They shut it off right after the start finish. Why do they do that, DJ? Why do they shut it off?
Well, but they're taped up here, and certainly they don't want the engine running any hotter than what they have to. You know, that's looking ahead to tonight. Once this thing gets overheated, then there's a lot of problems that can occur. Plus, they want to get things cooled down as much as they can for the next round.
That's right. We got one more round coming. The top 12 will move on, and more than likely, Ben Kennedy will be a part of that with that last lap. J.J. Yaley in the 14 car. You see tracking above Kennedy's by about 7/8 of a second.
It can't be. I have to go back a second and think about just listen to him talk about how hot it is today. Got back to the day when we started this race or started the 400 at 11 a.m. And so you were racing in basically the heat of the day. And talk about a hot, slick racetrack and hot inside a race car.
Yeah. Those are the good old days there, brother.
Good old days.
In case you're wondering.
No, I'm telling you, I joined after you all, and this is one of the hottest races I've ever covered on a July weekend down here or a late June weekend. I'm telling you. It's not the heat, it's the old phrase. JJ finishes up. He is 19th. Last week, Iowa Speedway, as much fun as I've had watching at Iowa ever. Cars everywhere, and the one at the front at the end, William Byron, his first win in this series.
Yeah, they were racing all over that racetrack. That was great. I think, in talking to some of them, part of it had to do with the truck race the night before. The groove moved up and got some rubber down there, and the tire that they had, the less downforce that they have in the car now. So a lot of factors that put in a very entertaining race to watch.
Byron on the clock now, going for 2 in a row. Already in the playoffs with that win last week, trying to shore it up with some more stage wins for playoff points. Perhaps a race win for even more.
But and we've seen it in the Cup Series with three new first-time winners this year. There's something about a race with a first-time winner. It makes it so flippin' exciting. You're like, okay, now we've seen these guys break in. Now what are they going to do? And I think Byron, obviously through the Truck Series and into this series, already being a winner in the Xfinity Series, as he slots in third there, has a bright future.
Good lap for William. And I'm thinking about this now as we see this. The bumping has started, obviously, for round number 2. You see the cut line there on the left. Garrett Smithley, the next in jeopardy there, along with teammate Harrison Rose. Can you save anything, DJ, in this type of qualifying format where, as we showed earlier, you're matted to the floor the entire time around the track, or are you?
No.
Okay.
Everything you got right here. It doesn't make any difference. You know that everybody's going to be wide open. You get all that you can from that. And so there's no holding back here. The tires aren't going to give up enough that it's going to make any difference. Everybody's going to be able to run wide open.
Tyler Reddick is on track now. We talked to him a little earlier. Byron having shut off and coasting all the way around now through the middle of turn 3 and 4. There's Reddick. High in the banking, gaining speed. Tyler, one of the California-born drivers, joining this now national series. There was a time when Daytona was the center of it and the Southeast was the center of the sport, and eventually they went west, and you all were a part of that. You remember that, Kyle?
Yeah, I remember that. We didn't want any drivers to come back here, but we just wanted to go west, man.
Buy boots and stuff like that, right?
We had our own little world here. You know what I mean? Everybody from the Southeast, we're going to run some Cup races. We're going to run some NASCAR races down here. You guys don't need to come down here. But it has been amazing. Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Tyler Reddick. I mean, we can go Kevin Harvick. So many guys have come from the West Coast that have come back to dominate this form of racing. Kyle Larson right now is just turning everybody's head.
So Reddick in the Chip Ganassi Racing, number 42, sharing that ride at times this season with Cup driver Kyle Larson. Bring it down toward the double yellow line there. Remember, later tonight that line will be very important. You can't go down there to make forward progress. And you see Reddick's time just 0.2 beyond Ben Kennedy's fast lap, which remains at the top. He is, however, in the top 12 in 7th position. Bumping has started. Smithley is out. Reddick is in.